How you doing, everybody, and welcome to Dicey Decisions, where we roll dice, spin stories, and play some game. We're back after a short break, and we're back with something special. I will not be your GM for the foreseeable future. Right now, we're taking a break from our main campaign, and we're doing a little mini, we'll call it a mini campaign, with Troy, who plays Finnan, usually, as our GM, and I will actually be taking on the role of player for once in my life. It already is looking to just be awesome, and I'm not going to spend too much time just going on and on about it because you're about to listen to it. Before we do, however, I'm going to plug our Dicey Spotlight, which also happens to have a little something to do with the show. A gentleman under the Twitter handle of Gabe James Games, say that 5 times fast, came out with class-specific ability score modifiers, where it's a variant rule that you can elect to choose, and I will definitely be using it from now on because it makes a lot more sense in the method of building a character, where the ability scores are not tied to the race that your character is, it is tied to the class that they choose. So you still get the +1, +2, basically the 3 points to place wherever you want to put them, but it's based off of specific questions that you answer based on how you intend to play your barbarian or cleric or bard, things like that. I'm going to be linking it in the description down below. It is on Drive-Thru RPG. It is super cool. You can pay what you want. I definitely suggest throwing some money towards Gabe because he is a fantastic creator and he was so cool to actually DM me back and answer some questions about Artificer because that was not one of the original options. And he was really cool to get back to me about that because one of our players is playing an Artificer. So, without any further ado, please join us on this episode of Dicey Decisions.
Wow, I'm Barbie. This is wonderful.
Your voice is not even remotely synced up to your face, but it's fine because I can fix it in post, I think.
This is an experiment.
Yeah.
In many ways.
Should we reintroduce ourselves?
Yeah.
Start with our illustrious GM. Not me.
Hi, everybody.
Oh shit, what up?
I'm Troy. You know me mostly as the voice of Finnan Half-Stout Goodbarrel on Dicey Decisions. But today, I am your GM for Dicey Decisions to a different tune. And here are your players.
It's us. We have faces.
Yes, we're trying a face thing. We don't know if this is going to work out for permanent, but we're trying it.
Yeah, Carly's computer sucks, so we'll see about it. The actual
Introduce
game
yourself
playing.
with faces.
I'm not going first.
Great.
You're the GM.
I already
Troy.
did mine.
We're doing it again.
Do it again!
No, we don't have to. He doesn't have to do it again.
Literally, Craig was already recording it.
Hi, I am usually the GM for Dicey Decisions. I'm Mike. You can put a face to the taint face to the taint now.
What?
Ain't no problem.
That was all sign. That was all kinds of a mess.
I'm
Is that
Mike.
what you're trying to get to?
I'm
Actually,
Mike.
Sorry. While we're at it, introduce your characters a little bit.
Hi, I'm Mike. I will be playing Junie. Or her full name is Juniper Brimyol. But, you know, she was taking a gap year for a little time, and now she's back. She's kind of decided what her direction in life is gonna be. And, you know, she just wants to dance, you know? That's just what she wants to do. Who's next?
Hi, I'm Carly. Hi, I'm Barbie.
Stop.
I'm sorry, all the Barbie movies are on YouTube now. We've been watching them.
Fun.
We've
I'm
watched
Carly.
one.
You've watched one.
That's why my search history is all fucked up.
Anyway, I'm Carly. I usually play Katrina, and today I will be playing Toshiko Tanaka. And I personally find Junie's voice very grating.
You know, you. I'm not doing good.
It's okay. We can cut this out in post. It's okay.
Yep.
We can fix it in post.
We'll make Michael do it.
Michael, fix
He's really excited about editing this.
I'm excited about not having to.
Yeah, look how excited I am. There's oh gosh, there's a fairy. And there it goes. Ah!
And
And
you
I
just
want
made
the
more
word-
work for yourself.
Yeah, I
I
know.
want the words across my face. Thank you, Michael. Anyway, I will be playing Cadence, the miscellaneous European lawyer,
Miscellaneous.
because I cannot commit to an accent if we cannot tell.
You've gone through at least 4 already.
Oh god,
Exactly.
it's just Helga in Act 1.
I am not here to fool around.
Oh no.
This
Are
is
you
going to go wonderfully then.
Oh, it's great. It's going to be wonderful.
Absolutely wonderfully.
Okay.
They called me wonderful, so I said.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to go ahead and get started narrating.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So you all have been traveling for some days now to reach a very large building situated at the foot of some very dense mountain range. And you get inside this place. You've had maybe an hour or so of milling about before this ceremony has begun. And so you're brought into this massive great hall. Like intricate wood carvings, stonework, all the good stuff.
Does any of the stonework involve testicles?
No, that's only you.
Don't spoil the fun!
It's okay, Mike can edit it out.
Nope, keeping that in. That's some foreshadowing. Potter doesn't know what foreshadowing is.
Okay, I am going to... That was all off the cuff. I have actually written things to read, so...
Exciting.
Wow!
I don't ever write things for campaigns, so, bear with me.
But Helga isn't here.
Bad.
Yeah.
Michael, you look so disappointed in me.
This is how I look all the time. You just never get to see it.
And I will also be using a voice modulator thing, so bear with me. I will ask that Mike please edit out the reactions. Okay. A Goliath of a man, literally a Goliath in a rather dapper suit, gets to his feet, towering over the rest of the populace. He clears his throat, and a surprisingly high-pitched voice comes from him.
Oh no. Please no. Please. Please no.
Welcome to the Dorian Royal Academy of the Arts. As you all know, you are here after a rigorous application process, a hefty entrance fee, and a grueling journey through the frozen tundras outside. Now, before we get to assigning you to your classes and dorms, we shall have a word from Headmaster Aldrich.
The table of instructors, along with most of the other students, begin to applaud. A Dragonborn, who had been seated at the center of the table near the head of the Great Hall, gets to his feet. Candlelight glints off his silver scales, providing a natural sort of spotlight on him as he speaks.
How shiny are his feet?
Oh my god.
He's not a dwarf, so not very.
Sorry, that's a home
Is he a
game
halfling?
reference. He's a
I am
Dragonborn, right?
trying my best to not include any halflings because I have a proclivity towards them, so shut up.
Is he a very short Dragonborn?
I did not pick out a voice for this character. I forgot that he was speaking, so he doesn't get a voice.
He also has a super high-pitched voice.
No, actually,
He's actually just a puppet that the other guy is using.
Nah, he's not gonna get one. Good evening, students and faculty. As we always have, the Dorian Royal Academy will prove the superiority of the arts above all else in any field we set our mind to. You are the best and brightest of what our fair land has to offer, and I expect great things from you. Now let us cease the talking and get you a sign so that we may eat our dinner. He claps his hands and sits back down.
Whoa.
Applauding
The
for
Goliath
himself.
stands once more and begins to read off a list of students' names, followed by an instructor's name. One by one, the heads at the long table in front of the hall begin to filter away until there are only a few figures not eating or conversing. You three, another figure nearby, and what appears to just be a statue of a creature sitting in a chair. There's a long pause, and the Goliath seems to remember thumping a palm to his forehead.
Oh yes, of course. Our special cases.
He seems to almost look down upon you as he reads off your names. And I have to scroll a lot because I have pronunciation guides for each of these.
I also had to scroll back to look at my name, and I didn't even say it.
Juniper Brimiel, Cadence Gorshausen, Toshiko Tanaka, Meridia. You will be assigned to our alternative performance professor, Instructor Crucible.
It's Crucible! Sorry.
The statue begins to move. It seems to be made of stained glass, the various panels depicting a bolt of lightning striking some sort of monastery or church building. Hello, I am designated as Instructor Crucible. Please follow me. Crucible leads you through the luxurious Great Hall, down various paths that show off massive concert halls, practice suites, and instruments lining the walls. Then he turns down a side hallway that seems almost forgotten, pushing open a few near-rotten wooden doors until they reach a ramshackle classroom. Welcome to the Alternative Performance Wing.
How big is it?
Oh, it's a tiny lecture hall.
Like maybe 10 people lecture hall?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh no.
And like dripping ceilings kind of deal, no windows.
No windows. The ceilings are not dripping, but the seats, there are quite a few seats where the cushion on the seats has been pushed down through. A few are just pried off of their off of the frame that would have held them. The lectern at the front seems to be covered in dust. And there is no board at the front. There just seems to be a piece of, like, cork rather than any sort of, like, writing surface.
Nice.
This is basically the beginning of Lemonade Mouth.
I'm not leaning into this because I don't know what it is.
Actually, the basement of Lemonade Mouth is way nicer than this.
Honestly, yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
So, now that we've gotten to this point, why don't you describe what your characters look like?
I guess we'll go in the order that we introduced ourselves. You see, taking the farthest away seat from anyone, or no, I would say closest seat to the door, farthest from the front. A lavender purple tiefling, with horns that kind of start up at her brow and curve around to the back, with a slight inward point. She has this crimson red hair that goes down to, like, all the way down to her waist. She is not really wearing clothes. She seems to have, like, wrapped all the important parts in this gold-colored cloth. She has a spear. Would she be allowed to carry that around with her?
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, she's also got a spear that at both ends, by the point and at the back, there's or not the opposite end, are these long gold tassels, matching ones on her ankles and wrists.
Yeah, you guys do have whatever gear we had determined, solely because you guys have been traveling for anywhere between a couple of days to get up to this point in the mountains to multiple weeks, depending on how far away you lived.
Oh, so we're still in our travel gear.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, she's not wearing
Okay.
much.
So, Carly.
Toshiko takes a seat towards the front. The first thing that you notice is that she is very slight. The second thing that you notice is that there is a creature on her shoulder that looks to be made out of living clay. If anyone knows what a tanuki is, it is, in fact, a tanuki about the size of a cat. That is,
like Tanuki sized.
yeah, tanuki sized. That is balanced on her shoulder. The third thing that you notice is that her eyes are entirely covered by white silk bandages, which are wrapped around her head and kind of lay flat against her very short, cropped black hair. She's wearing a rather worn black yukata, which definitely looks like it's preferred for traveling. And she cocks her head to the side. I don't know if the camera picked my nut popping up. That was great. As I cocked my head to the side. She cocks her head to the side and goes, "Professor."
Sorry, I was blowing out a candle.
You're right. She goes, "Professor,
Yes.
if you don't mind my asking, what manner of enchantment is upon you?"
I do not know.
Okay,
I know that I was struck by lightning, and I am here.
And that's all you get
Okay.
from him.
So, like, where are you from?
A desert.
Yeah, he said the
And then-
desert, that's it?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Fuck. Shit. There we go.
And then finally, stepping through the doors, the last of the party is a tall, light blue skinned Triton, closed, short blonde hair, dark eyes behind bright red glasses, fins that are long and curved around her head, a red fancy jumpsuit with giant red bell bottoms and white heels, making pointed clicking noises as she steps into the classroom, takes one look at it, and pointedly does not sit down or engage with any of her fellow classmates. Only to cross her arms and look at the professor. And Troy, I'm going to be honest with you and tell you that one of my Eldritch invocations is Eldritch Sight. And the thing with that is that I can cast Detect Magic at will. And I would like to do that to look at the professor to see what is going on with him, if I can do that.
Oh, he magic.
But I can't know the specifics of him right off the bat.
Oh, there is definitely some very heavy enchantments, but they are... You've dealt with magic before. That's kind of where your family is as far as a lot of stuff goes. Like, a lot of your people do operate with very magical influences all the time. There's lots of enchanted items, lots of things to basically make life easier in Triton Land, wherever that may be.
I believe it's called Atlantica.
Probably the ocean.
This is magic beyond anything you've ever perceived. You're pretty sure this is on the level of your family's patron. Like, not to the specific, like, you're not getting a sense of your patron going, oh hey, go talk to this guy. It's just the latent power that you've been able to sense from your patron before. This guy's got at least that much, if not a little bit more.
Interesting.
So do you, like, polish yourself regularly, or does it just stay like that?
I do my best to keep clean, but it is difficult in the snow.
Okay.
But
Nothing
There
to work
is-
with there.
there is a fourth student that joins you.
I pointedly don't look at her, even though I'm like super aware of her.
She actually enters just a little bit after Cadence does. She is a bit on the shorter side with a not so slight frame. She is built in a way that is clear that she has some fighting experience. But rather than being dressed in armor, she's dressed in some very, like, practical yet elegant travel clothing in very light pastel colors, purples, pinks, blues, that sort of thing. She
My favorite
has
kind of goth.
She has ashen gray skin and, like, long white hair that goes just below her shoulders and seems to be, like, carefully managed. And just kind of has this perpetual, like, gentle smile on her face. Like, that's her resting features. And as if to defy everything I've just described, she is also carrying a sword about as tall as her. She
That's kinda
goes
hot.
towards the... She
Yeah.
moves to the front of the classroom and sits down in a chair near the center, near the front, giving Toshiko her space, but also, very clearly wanting to be close to the front.
Professor, you don't expect us to have class here, do you? Honestly.
This is where I was assigned to take you, so this is where we will be having class.
There's no space. Like, where are we supposed to, like, do things?
On these dredges, what you call a desk?
Do you really think that he has any sort of sway over this? Leave him alone.
The time for learning will come soon. For now, we must learn who our classmates are. As you all know, I am Instructor Crucible. I have been assigned to teach the alternative performance classes. These are anything that do not fall under the purview of the Dorian Royal Academy of the Arts. Please introduce yourselves and tell us what your art is.
My name is Toshiko Tanaka. I tend towards sculpture and automatons.
Ah, your questions make sense now.
Yes, you are quite curious.
He tilts his head in the exact same way that you just did.
She smiles just a little bit. And on her shoulder, the tanuki also just gives a very toothy.
Oh my god.
And this is Tenchi. He is my seeing eye tanuki. Don't mess with him.
He has enchantments on him in order to help you see, correct?
Correct.
I shall ensure that no harm comes to him. Myself.
Don't fuck with the tanuki, guys.
Kind of want to fuck with the Tanuki now.
Alright, so who's introducing next?
I had to go look up my last name again.
Just wave from the back of the classroom. Just kind of like a bonk this. She just bonks her spear on one of the desks. Which is like.
It collapses.
I'm Junie.
I'm 19 and I never learned how to read.
You don't know that.
Does she know how to read? I'm the DM, I get to know these
She knows
things.
how to read. She's not 19 either. Yeah, collapses the desk.
I'm Junie, and I dance.
And apparently don't have any respect for private property.
Of course you would dance. Stupid. I'm Cadence. I pact break and contract negotiate.
You what?
You are a lawyer then?
Correct. Automaton.
Why didn't you not just say that you are a lawyer? That's rather pompous.
Correct.
Why don't you just go to a lawyer academy?
Because some things need to be handled more specifically from what I've learned.
And magically?
And
Yes.
artfully?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
The girl near the front of the classroom speaks up, though she is rather hard to hear even after that. Good afternoon. My name is Meridia. My performance is flower arranging. So Meridia actually pulls up a small bag and opens up a fairly large leather-bound journal. And she gets up from where she's sitting and first moves to Toshiko's side. And knowing what she does now, she opens a page and pulls out a pressed flower that was pressed between the pages. And she presents to Tenshi's face first, so that way Toshiko can see it. An azalea.
Thank you, that's very kind. She takes it and puts it it just disappears in the sleeves of her yukata.
You are welcome. It is a flower that means patience, which I feel you already have more of than almost anyone in this room.
Another very small little smile.
Good. So then she moves to Junie and presents her with a small branch of juniper flowers.
Oh.
She takes it very gently, puts it behind her ear. Tries really hard not to blush. She's turning a little shade of fuchsia!
Eat shit.
And then she moves to Cadence. And she looks at Cadence very carefully.
Cadence stares her down.
And she hands Cadence a yellow poppy.
So what do you hope to accomplish with this? Camaraderie?
Perhaps.
What do you hope to accomplish with your standoffishness?
Like, Meridia actually stifles a little bit of a laugh.
Say what you will about my choice and my personality, but I'm here to learn, and I would like to have better working conditions than this. And if I would like to address that to the professor, then I don't see why is that such a concern.
Oh, you need to learn how to shut up.
I shall do my best to help.
Meridia just kind of stops and looks around at everybody and just says, there's no need for all of this bickering. We are in an unfortunate situation, yes, but we are here together, and that is about all we can manage at the moment. Professor, what is our first assignment?
I do not know.
Okay.
Okay? That's all you want to say is okay.
Oh, I suppose that it would be important for you to eat. We
we could go for
skipped
some grub.
the meal. I do not need to eat. I have forgotten this.
I don't suppose you could show us where we'll be staying.
Oh, yes, that is a good plan. Thank you, Cadence.
I assume you don't sleep either.
No. I must enter a state of hibernation for a short time every evening, but otherwise, I do not sleep.
Okay.
And he then moves with you out of the alternative music classroom and back through the luxurious hallways of the Dorian Royal Academy of the Arts.
None of
And-
these lecture halls are available to us. None of them. Not even this open one. This giant 200 desk one.
Why do we need 200 desks? There are 4 of you.
Well, now we only have
And-
9 desks, so like we're gonna be going through them pretty quick.
Cadence. You said you are here to learn, correct?
I am. I am here to learn. I would just think that we would have better conditions.
People who wish to learn typically have open minds. Maybe you should have one towards our situation.
As a tinkerer, I would think that you would want the best conditions available to you.
As a tinkerer, I see what I have, and I will improve upon it.
Well, then improve upon your situation already. How about that?
While they're
She-
bickering.
She takes a deep breath and then gestures toward Crucible, and on her shoulder, Tinchi also sticks a little arm out and gestures toward Crucible.
Clearly, the
On
robot.
a scale of 1 to 10, how much sway do you think he has in the goings on here?
I don't even want to consult our teacher much more than we need to, if I'm being honest.
I can hear what you are saying.
Professor, believe you and me. I have the utmost respect for what you're doing here.
You do not, I can tell.
I really don't, actually. I really don't, actually. I have the bare minimum expectation for you. So how about you show us where the dining hall or the dormitory are, and then maybe we can handle ourselves the rest of the way.
Your accent seems to be quite fluid.
I think so too. I don't know, man. We're just gonna go with it.
This is a reasonable request, and I think it is smart, so I can work on improving your learning conditions.
Thank you, Professor Crucible.
Instructor, but okay.
All right.
And he leads you guys back into that dining hall. And there are not as many students milling about as there were, but there are a few professors still at the head of the table, and there are long buffet tables now set out with all manner of food. Basically, whatever you might like is there.
Excuse me.
So this is the rest of the student body who's actually like performers.
There's a few of them still around, but some of them ate very quickly and rushed away to go get themselves settled in their dormitories. But there are some performers still milling about, yeah.
Is the Goliath that welcomed us still there?
No, actually. He is not.
What was her name was Meridia?
Yes.
I guess like as they were bickering and bitching at each other, Ginny like sidles up to Meridia. Just to walk closer to her, I guess. I don't have anything smart to say, so just kind of falls into step beside her, away from them.
Meridia is just watching Toshiko and Cadence bicker, just the slightest frown on her face.
Can I get some inkling of what she's thinking about?
You could roll an insight check.
Oh shit. Alright.
Also, my lighting is now very dark because I've been using natural lighting and it's now dark outside.
Okay. That is a 19. What's her social security number?
So you mostly get the sense that she's not really happy with how much bickering has already happened in the first hour of knowing these people.
I mean, yeah. That's all I get? Shit. That's fine.
I
No.
ain't thought of shit yet.
I'm not
Shut
gonna-
up. It could be a mixture of both the unfortunate conditions that you all are being forced to work in, or it could also be the interactions between Toshiko and Cadence, who she's supposed to be working with closely for who knows how long.
Okay, so Junie kind of sidles up, and, kind of like just like gives her a look like up, down, and then up again, and says, so, where'd you get all these flowers from? Definitely not from around here, it's nothing but snow.
I gathered them on my trips here, actually.
You came from really far
You know-
away then.
I like to travel a lot, actually, so it's been collected over time, and, you know, each flower tells a story.
You can tell me what mine says?
The juniper means luck and protection.
I could,
Do you not find yourself lucky?
She doesn't respond.
For another example, the flower that I gave Toshiko means. Scrolling back up through my very.
Patience?
Yes, it means patience, which she has already exhibited more of than I think I have seen in almost anybody in my whole life.
She kind of takes, you see her shoulders light, and Tenchi's head turns towards Cadence,
Just like around.
just to give him what makes eye contact, basically. Listen. Your anger is justified. This is not a situation any of us would want to be in. However, in my experience as a tinkerer, as you so put it, someone like Crucible probably does not have much sway in the matter. Righteous anger is wonderful, just as long as it's directed in the right direction.
So you're saying we need to burn the building down?
It's not what I said.
I'm pretty sure that's what
I'm
you're
not
getting
going
at
to
here.
say- I would not go as far as that. Though.
I would not recommend it.
Thank you, Crucible. Instructor.
You muted yourself, dear.
I would
I just hear
I would go-
in the distance. I didn't mute myself. I muted myself.
I'm not sure how I did. Oh, my yarn rolled over my mouse. That's what happened. Anyway, what did you guys say?
I wouldn't go as far as that, though. I can see the constructiveness behind that. Thank you, Juniper.
I mean, this
Perhaps-
is a stone building, so maybe fire isn't the best option.
You do realize.
Explosives.
Oh,
Okay, now we're cooking with oil. That's good.
That was sarcasm.
Your point?
I thought that we were being hyperbolic.
Sure.
to get back on track, I see your point, and perhaps I will concede that I was heated.
Where are you now?
Consider me shocked.
All the same, I would assume that going to the professor was the right choice.
Crucible, I believe that the term is joshing.
Yeah.
It's pronounced Junie.
This is where I admit that my burn is actually more like Juniper.
Oh my god.
So,
Uh,
by the time that this conversation has kind of petered out, you all have reached the Great Hall once more. And inside, there are still a few students around. There's not really it's not as densely packed as it was. Some of them have run off to go get set up in their dorms and whatnot. But there are still a couple of classes around. A few of the professors up at the front of the hall, as well as buffet tables lining all the way down this great hall with just about every manner of food you could think of, which is an easy way for me to narrate it so I don't have to sit here and ask what your character's favorite foods are.
Nice.
So,
Never mind,
Toshiko.
DM. Yes.
what kind of food are you going for?
So Toshiko goes, has a seat, and Tenchi jumps off of her shoulder and skitters onto the table, grabs a plate, and just starts piling it up with literally any fucking carbs. Any carbs.
Many carbs.
Many carbs.
Is she on the paleo diet? What's going on here?
Bowl of rice, some fish, any sweets. Yeah.
Okay. So what is Cadence eating?
Cadence takes a long look at the buffet line, sticks her nose up at it, and then just promptly walks down, picks up the smallest plate, and puts like a tiny morsel of like a tiny cake, and then that's all she's eating.
All right. Junie, what are you eating?
Okay, so are there any students still like kind of getting food?
A few. You know, they're probably going back for seconds at this point, depending on how long that walk took you guys.
So it's safe to assume that all of the other students, apart from us, are like instrumentalists or singers.
A few of them do seem to have some instrument cases on them.
Just break someone's cello.
Nerd.
Nerd.
I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna break it.
Who looks like the richest douchebag in the room?
Cadence.
I mean,
A
yes,
heart
that's
shape.
the correct answer.
Who looks like the douchiest, like who looks like the fucking lead guitarist? That isn't really
There
hot
is-
shit.
That's better.
Talking with an older professor who'd probably guess was in maybe their late 40s, bald with very simple clothing in black, is talking to a student with just scarlet red hair, carrying a loot case.
Oh god. Are they like at the buffet kind of talking, or?
They're more off to the side
More
than
off to the
anything else.
side?
It seems
Okay.
that they've. But are you attempting to move the action away from the buffet?
At the moment, I'm just trying to get a feel for the room, like what kind of people are here.
I mean, like I said,
Yeah.
there are some performers still milling about, but not very many, and a couple of faculty.
Okay. Cool. No. I get some crab. Just get some just crabs. Just start cracking them open. With like this very like vicious like method of cracking them open. It's not like using any tools. It's just taking them. It's like
Tenchi, you notice Tenchi's had like swivels from Toshiko's plate to Junie's plate, back to Toshiko's plate, and then over to Cadence. Is this considered racist? Eating seafood in front of you.
No, because I don't care about crabs. Also,
I mean, you
that,
really should. Like, you gotta be careful.
that they're crustaceans. If anything, they're like insects.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Meridia, this whole time, has been gathering a small plate for herself with mostly some very plain foods. Very modest sort of meal. She doesn't go for anything extravagant. But she watches Cadence, like, take just a single piece of, like, one of those tea cakes that you'll get at, like, a Chinese buffet that's, like, that big.
Very small, using like a tiny like tea fork and knife.
And I'm imagining, like, that actual, like, tea cake with the little gelatin-looking frosting
Yes.
on the top.
Yeah, exactly.
God.
She sees you take that while she's still gathering hers. And when you all sit back down at your very long, dining table, she sets down her plate and then sets down a plate of a mixture of things. There's some seafood, there's some bread, there's some rice, there's a few sweets, and she sets it down in front of Cadence.
What?
You need to eat more than just cake.
I'm not going to eat food that's been left out. This is probably the most that I can stomach. Do you understand?
I understand. But you still need to eat.
So you guys like a thing or something? And like Junie's like taking up 3 chairs because her feet aren't on the ground.
What? No.
That was a very defensive answer.
I don't even know her.
Ooh, where'd that lawyer's composure go?
And Meridia, through this whole thing, is just kind of grinning the tiniest bit.
Oh, look. What? What does it matter? Why do you care what I eat? This is simple enough. We're just going to eat food and then go to our dorms.
She like leans over to Shiko and just goes, "Yeah, she kind of struck me as pretty tsundere."
Meridia looks at Cadence with like this "I'm not here to take your bullshit" sort of look. And just says, "We have been assigned to be in a class together. That does not mean I will always like you. Almost assuredly, so far, I'm not too fond of you right now. But I am not going to let harm come to any of you, even if it is self-afflicted harm. So eat some real food."
We
And
won't be
as
able
she
to help her
says
with the
that,
crabs,
she
though.
is... As she says that, she's leaning in, and her eyes actually like seem to flicker like a flame for a moment.
Ah.
I like her.
And after just a moment of staring, she sits back up and eats as though nothing had happened.
Cadence is, I don't know, she's maybe a little outraged, but I guess everyone is going about their own conversations midway through the meal. She does pull close, like, maybe a plate of, like, plain noodles and eats that.
Just butter noodles.
Yeah, and, like, glares back at Meridian. Actually, no, Meridian.
Meridia, right?
Meridia.
Yes.
That's not Cadence. That's just me, Tiffany, being dummy.
So yes, she's at this point kind of made small talk with Toshiko, made small talk with Junie on occasion, but largely has just been kind of keeping to herself.
I have a question for you.
I assume that's right, because you did say Meridia leading into this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, what is it?
What's your game here?
Flower arranging. I said that in the classroom.
Flower arranging. You're here for flower arranging. I get that. You don't strike me as the whole peace-loving sort.
Why
You're
do you say
here-
that?
I mean, the big sword might have something to do with it, but
Yeah, pointed look at the big sword on her back.
Meridia kind of looks back and goes, "Oh, I can see your thread of logic, Miss Lawyer. I am not solely a flower arranger. I serve a deity, in a sense.
Like a paladin? Are you a paladin? Were you a paladin?
No, nothing quite so militant.
Oh my gosh, are you in a cult?
Some have called it that, yes. But I believe that is solely because of his proclivities. Let's see. Would any of your characters know much about religion?
I'm
Oh,
not
baby, that's
trained
my
in
specialty.
religion.
That's my specialty.
So, go
I'm
ahead and
doing-
roll me a religion check.
Yeah. Can
I
I
have
also do? Oh, I wanted to ask if I could also do like an insight on her.
Roll this religion check first.
Okay.
I insight the door.
Carly, what were you gonna say before?
I was gonna start saying something because I thought I had advantage on religion checks or proficiency, but I don't. So never mind.
22.
22. So yeah, no, you, as she's starting to say this, talking about how her deity has certain proclivities that have been compared to a cult in the past, a switch flips in your brain. You didn't really read books where you're from because,
Yeah.
paper doesn't exactly do great underwater.
No.
But not long after you came to the surface, you did read a book on some of the more prevalent deities in this realm. Mainly so that way you could, associate yourself with people more readily. And you read of the deity Kelemvor, also known as the Judge of the Damned. You know that this deity is the god of death in this realm. And you know that his holy symbol, his holy symbols and his favored weapon, the thing that he carries, is a bastard sword. Which is exactly what Meridia is carrying.
Okay. And does Kelemvor have any relation to the patron of my family?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Good.
Like, they're basically on just completely different planes.
Okay, good. I was about to, start shit with her.
So what were you trying to figure out with that insight check?
I wanted to see if my family sent her.
Ah.
Be like, my family
I think with that religion check alone, you would know that anybody who's associated with that sort of deity probably didn't come from underwater. You'd never heard of Kelemvor before leaving the water, so
Okay.
it's extremely unlikely that she is an Asian for your family.
Good.
Is anyone in the room watching us? Other than Crucible?
Not extremely carefully, and actually, Crucible is speaking with the Goliath from earlier.
Okay.
Hopefully about changing our classroom. So I see that you're a follower of the damned.
Call it not so much a choice as a calling.
Well, can't judge you for that. Wouldn't be my choice.
Nor would it be mine.
The sword looks like a pain in the ass.
It's actually quite nice. Would you like to try it?
I have some lube in my bag.
No!
I
Meridia
forgot to
just-
mention that Toshiko does have a staff. That sword reminded me that she has a staff. She uses it as blind person staff.
Nice.
Yeah,
Everybody-
Meridia just kind of
everybody has their-
glares at Junie.
Cadence is like, ugh, no. Ew, no! God, no! Junie, get your head out of your ass.
I don't understand the joke here.
See, some people like to stick large objects up their asses. When you need lube.
Okay. Okay.
And as you say that, the professor that you had seen talking near the end of the buffet table has walked up just as you say that phrase.
And so you gotta be really careful and do it very slowly, otherwise you could do some ripping.
I don't need this information.
Shut up.
Yes, please shut up, is what the professor says, actually.
Oh shit.
So, as a reminder, this is, mid-40s, bald man, very severe features, but currently smiling,
Uh-huh.
in, plain black clothing.
Can I say we all whip our head around like Mean Girl simultaneously?
I will go along with that, yeah.
It's like, ugh.
So, you must be Crucible's class.
Yes.
And who are you?
Oh, I'm Professor Kuiper.
Kuiper?
Kuiper. I am teaching the orchestral students this term. Which means I probably won't see you all terribly much unless you decide to branch out. And by all means, I would welcome that.
I don't have much of a singing voice.
The orchestra is... I've already determined that you're probably not suited for my class anyway. But thanks for the enthusiasm, we'll call it.
That sounded like an insult.
Oh, it probably was.
All right. Dr. Kuiper. Professor Kuiper. I'm sorry. That's not a high enough title for you. Excuse me.
That
Oh.
sounded like an insult.
Oh, it was.
Great. Fantastic. All right. Love this.
The professor, correct me if I am wrong.
Which
There
you
does
probably
not-
are.
He's a
I
delight.
hate him.
At the same time, Toshiko and Tenchi's heads both.
Meridia is just keeping her head down, not even here.
Cadence is casting message to everyone being like, this guy's a fucking tool.
Meridia has a mouthful of noodles and just
What can thaumaturgy do?
essentially prestidigitation, but it's divine magic instead of arcane.
Oh, so I just do little tricks then.
That's as far as I've understood it.
Okay.
but You're free to prove me wrong.
I mean,
So, Toshiko is going to continue her phrase whenever you're finished.
Yes, please.
As I was saying, it does not seem that there is much appreciation for the non-traditional arts here.
Well, of course, this is a performing arts academy funded by the Dorian Royal Court, and it really doesn't behoove us to pour a lot of money into anything that isn't to that end. So, sculpting, or oratory, or... I guess dance is close if it's done respectfully enough, but I really doubt this one can dance respectfully.
That's very close-minded, don't you think?
Yes, but I'm the one being paid to be here.
And we're the ones paying you. Oh wait, we're not. Never mind. I take that back.
I'm gonna cast thaumaturgy.
So, you want to read off thaumaturgy for us?
Thaumaturgy is just you manifest a minor, just supernatural thing, and one of the things it can do is create an instantaneous sound that originates from a point of your choice within range.
Oh no.
So just in the distance, only he can hear the faint sound of just looping as long as possible, and I'm just quietly just going and just somewhere in there's just a little wet fart sound. Just the whole time he's talking.
Well, good to see that the governing bodies here are respectful and mature and really truly value the learning of their students. Thank you. And then she just turns away from him and just continues eating her bowl of rice.
So, as I meant to do this before, but I was rolling and considering my next actions.
I'm in trouble.
As Junie has cast thaumaturgy, the professor's ear quirks, and he just kind of tilts his head around. And then he focuses on Junie. And mid-sentence, as you're talking to him, Toshiko, he turns away and walks to an empty table. He... hold on. Mike, would you make me a dexterity saving throw, please?
Oh, fuck.
With disadvantage.
Disadvantage?
Shit.
You're casting a spell. You're concentrating on this spell at that.
It has an instantaneous casting time. I will take my lumps. Yeah, I'll use my advantage dice. Advantage and disadvantage dice. Alright. Disadvantage, you say? Dexterity saving throw?
Disadvantage.
Okay. So I rolled an 8 and a 2. Plus 6. So 8.
And in the table orientation, where are you sitting? That's right, you're taking up like 3 chairs by yourself.
Yeah, is it a round table or is it like a long table?
It's a long dining table.
I'm just taking up 3 chairs or a bench or whatever.
You're pretty much on the side of the table by yourself.
Basically. Maybe space for one person. Who knows?
So he has Professor Kuiper goes over to a table, grabs one of the chairs from around that table, and just throws it at you.
Deflect missiles. Can I use deflect missiles to catch it as a reaction?
Not with a roll of 8, you can't.
Oh, come on.
Am I near enough to use a reaction?
What would you like to do?
Deflect attack, which is something that my Tanuki can do. The defender imposes disadvantage on the attack roll of one creature it can see that's within 5 feet of it, provided the attack roll is against a creature other than the defender. If it's not close enough, that's fine.
No, it would be close enough. These aren't huge tables, and Tenshi has been described as being on the tables.
I can take my lumps, too. I brought this upon myself.
Roll me one more dex save real fast, Mike.
14.
Yeah, so same sort of thing still happens. He picks up this chair from another table and throws it at you, but you manage, between you and actually just before he lifts the chair, Tenshi runs up and like thumps up a clay paw onto your hand and like in enough force to be startling. And that's when you get the glimpse out of the corner of your eye that the chair is flying towards you, so you have enough time to get out of the way.
Okay. Do I have a choice of where I dodge, or do I just roll onto the floor?
You have a choice.
I'm on the table. I guess. I don't know.
Plates and silverware go flying everywhere. Cadence's perfectly selected cake is now on the floor.
And my ass is in her face.
Ah!
She's in like Spider-Man pose, like the spear out in one arm, like 3-point stance, ass in her face.
What the fuck?
And Meridia is just like... Actually, Meridia is already standing, and the bastard sword is fully drawn.
Toshiko has not moved, continues eating her rice. This is truly an inspiring place of learning.
You all aren't important enough to be taught.
Oh,
Remember
I'm gonna
that.
learn you something, bitch! And I leap at him. How far away is he?
He's about 40 feet.
Okay. That's my movement speed.
I understand that. But as you step in, or as you move towards him, Crucible steps in the way.
Does Crucible just clothesline me?
A little bit. Just thunk.
I love it.
There shall be no more of this.
He started it. The professor literally started it.
And I was gonna finish it! From the floor.
Junie, not now. You don't admit that under court.
And Professor Kuiper just kind of... That's about what I expected from the machine trying to teach students, especially trying to teach pointless endeavors. Honestly, like, I don't know why they hired you in the first place. And he just walks off.
Amazing that a machine has more class than you.
To be fair, I actually have a lot more classes than him, so I guess I win in that respect. And really, that's all I need. He's not even human. It doesn't matter.
Does that make you feel big?
No, throwing a chair at a student did, actually. It was quite fun. I might do it again. And he's outside of the Great Hall now.
I break a table.
Just...
Yeah, spear goes down on the table. I fucking break it. I'm pissed.
Toshiko nods. More of destruction of private property.
Look, I've got a thing going here, okay?
No, they deserve it.
I like
Again,
her now.
he started it.
Meridia is still, like, tense, and you can feel heat coming off of her. And actually, you can kind of see spidering up her hands about to where her sleeves start and up onto her face are lines like molten rock crackling under her skin.
Oh shit, that's really cool.
And through this whole time, she was actually standing in like a guarded position in front of Cadence and Toshiko. Like, I'm imagining that there is the long table. Junie on one side, Kuiper was on that side as well. Through the chair, Toshiko and Cadence were on the other side of the table, along with Meridia, and she just immediately stood in the way of anything that might come that direction.
Peace, Meridia. He's gone.
She resheathes the bastard sword.
Junie whips around to after breaking the table. Whips around to Crucible. Who the fuck was that guy, and what is his deal?
That is Professor Kuiper. He is the head of the orchestral division of the Royal Academy of the Arts. He is not fond of me.
Did you do something to piss him off? Or does he just not like you because he's racist? Robotist? Robacist? Robacist.
Both Robasis sounds right.
Yeah. Should write that
It is
down.
because my hiring to teach anything other than the performing arts means that his students are less funded.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, that kind of tracks. People will do anything for money, even if they have enough.
We were going to show up one way or another. Like, whatever. I can't even begin to break down that logic.
I'm starting to think
Okay.
nobody wants us here.
Really?
That's
You're
their
just now catching that on.
Get the feeling.
Them forgetting to announce us. Them forgetting to announce us didn't tip you off.
Well, I do have some good news to end the night on. When we reconvene tomorrow morning for your first day of classes, we shall not be in the alternative arts division. We will have a normal lecture hall.
Are we stealing a lecture hall?
Thank you.
If I do not say anything, and you do not say anything, this classroom will be forgotten.
I'm okay
I was
with
wrong
this.
about you, Crucible. I'm very proud of you. My
I
expectation.
do not need to feel pride.
The pride isn't for you, it's for me.
Okay. Your dormitories are not far from the classroom. I have assured that you are placed in dormitories that are just as good as the ones the rest of the student body hold. They intended to give you worse. I made it clear that was unacceptable.
Good.
Thank you.
Firm communication gets results.
Also, there was the threat of legal action,
Hmm.
not from you,
Nah. From who?
me.
Crucible!
I do not know you, but you are my students. I will protect you. And with
that, he turns around and motions for you all to follow him as he leads you to the dorms.
Damn it! I like you. I like these people. Shit!
I like Crucible.
Damn it! They all grew on me. Fuck.
Crucible, if I didn't think you would waste it, I would give you a bardic inspiration.
that is faintly mean, Cadence.
I know.
Don't you have like 4 of them?
It's a good question.
It's your charisma modifier.
So
I only have
he-
3.
I have 2.
Crucible leads you all through the school once again. He pointedly, like, the dorms that he is heading towards actually veer away from the alternative performance wing, excuse me. And he brings you all to a small tower that a spiral staircase that leads up a small tower. And at the top of this tower is a circular room that has these smaller... So it's a large circular room, and each quadrant of the circle, I guess, however you want to put it, is slightly cordoned off with partition, like the folding partitions and shades. It's nicely done, but it's still basic. There's no like color coordination or decoration to them or anything like that. Although they do have intricately carved music notes on some of the woodwork. The fabric is sheer enough to let light in, but not too sheer, so that way you do have some privacy. Each little quadrant has a separate bed, a footlocker, and a writing desk. And in the center of these 4 quadrants is a sort of common area with a dining table, a small kitchenette. Although the kitchenette does not seem to have much for cooking, but it does have a small, it does have what appears to be a small glass, not cube, small glass case on one of the counters with, a few buttons on it. What?
No, Junie's breaking shit, and she hasn't done anything about it, which is on brand, but I forgot that she has mending.
Oh,
I also have mending. Tashiko just didn't give a shit.
yeah, no,
And-
fuck school.
And as I'm narrating this is when I realize you all made everybody is playing a female character.
Yes.
Yeah.
So accidentally an all-girls dorm.
Oh,
Hell
girl-
yeah.
Yes.
Girls' night.
Girls dorm.
So Crucible looks around and says,
This will be where you are staying for your time here. If there's anything that you need that you cannot achieve yourself, please let me know and I will do my best. I will see you all in the secondary lecture hall tomorrow morning.
and he turns around and leaves.
Thank you.
Good night, Crucible.
Which bed is the nicest?
They're all equally one step above a nice inn, but not four-poster princess bed.
I take the cushiest looking one.
Cadence is trying so hard not to make a comment about trying to get a walls.
This is a very fine room.
It is adequate.
It's larger than my entire family home.
Really?
It is also far nicer than sleeping on a floor, Cadence. Everything in perspective.
Oh my god, if we're going to compare everything to dirt, yes.
Tashiko makes a point to go over to the bunk the furthest away from Cadence and the closest to Viridia.
Whatever. Cadence just chooses a random bed.
So, we'll say that Junie took one closest to the door because it was probably the last one set up, which means it's probably the cushiest, because that's how my logic is going to work. Which means that Cadence is probably on the opposite side of the entryway from Junie, so they're about as far away as you could be. And then in the back is probably Meridia's probably on the same side as Cadence, and Toshiko is on the same side as Junie.
Okay.
So Meridia, without much pomp or circumstance, goes to her little quadrant and immediately pulls the shades closed around her. And even more so, as you see her pull the shades closed, you actually hear her exclaim suddenly, "Oh, interesting.
What is it?
Try it."
Tashiko kneels on her bed and Tenchi jumps up and pulls the shades.
So Tenchi sees it go completely dark.
Oh. Can I cast Identify on the curtains?
Sure.
I have Identify. I will cast Identify.
They appear to be curtains that yes, they are curtains.
They appear to be curtains.
Wow, curtains!
That seem to have the spell darkness cast on them.
Cool.
A minor form of it, so it's not quite as severe, but from what you can tell, Junie, when inside the curtain, it is quite dark enough that it's comfortable to sleep in, and from outside, you can surmise, especially now that even if you look towards where Meridia and Toshiko have closed their shades, you cannot see into them whatsoever. It just appears as though there is shadow inside.
Cool.
Interesting. Tenchi, please. And Tenchi opens the curtain back up and then comes and sits directly across from Tashiko And she takes out a couple of pieces of just clay, starts playing with them, tinkering, messing around.
All right.
I do my evening exercises, which involves a lot of push-ups. Is there anything for me to do pull-ups from? Any bars?
The curtains.
The curtain bar, is that going to support my
Yeah.
weight?
Yeah, they will. Absolutely.
She's doing just reps.
My God. Shimbo.
Meridia takes him, is behind that curtain for a moment and reopens it, dressed in comfortable sleeping clothes in similar colors to what she was wearing when she came in. And she's just quietly reading a book while sitting on her bed.
Cadence is also unpacking several tomes of books, most of them just really old looking and dusty.
After about an hour passes, Toshiko gets up and is holding something in her hand and walks over to Meridia's she's sitting at her desk, you said, right?
She's actually sitting on her bed, legs folded, just reading.
Gotcha. Meridia,
Yes, what is it, Toshiko?
thank you for your gift. And then she places on just the foot of the bed, it looks like a cherry blossom. So it is made out of bits of metal, but also clay. So the metal gives it the structure and the clay kind of holds it all together. And as she puts it down, she does a little murmuring, and then it
Explodes.
No. So suddenly the clay color, the kind of rusty brown, suddenly disappears and it just bursts into color. So very bright pinks and everything, and they all seem to move and rotate and everything. And so basically it's a living kind of painting of the flower. Is that she can have a static visual effect. So basically it's just brightens it up and looks like an actual cherry blossom, but it's made out of clay.
So it's basically like a bonsai-sized
Yes.
cherry blossom tree.
Yes.
That's cute.
This is beautiful. Thank you so much, Toshiko.
Has everyone tried to romance this chick?
Cadence.
It's Monster
sucks.
Prom. That's what this is.
We're all just doing Monster Prom the roleplay.
And she sets it on the little nightstand and just says, I think we should all get our rest. It will be a long day tomorrow, and we have already faced a good deal of strife, we'll call it.
Need to work out this anger really quick. Just a few more reps. I'll be quiet.
I agree.
Very well.
Cadence turns off her lights and closes her blinds.
Yep, I assume pretty much everybody's doing the same, Junie, after her workout.
Yeah, she kind of waits for everyone to close off, and then she is there like a heater where you can put wet clothes or wash your clothes, or is that kind of like a wash space or anything like that?
Yeah, we'll say that there's a wash basin for clothes and stuff.
Yep, just painstakingly unwraps herself everything, and 'cause it's all just long bits of cloth, and she just washes it, hangs it up to dry.
Toshiko, who is laying down, eyes closed on the bed. Tenchi is sitting on the desk, and then she goes, I can still see you.
She shakes her ass at her. Or at 10.
And I think that's a good note to end on.
So that was it for this episode. We hope you super enjoyed it. We had so much fun recording. Once again, please make sure that you check out Gabe James Games on Twitter, along with the variant abilities score modifiers I'm speaking like a normal person. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. If you are listening to this on iTunes, please be sure to leave us a review because it super duper helps us out. And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment about your favorite part and your predictions for the next episode. Please let us know what you thought of the face cam. If you're listening to this on a podcast form, you missed out. We have face cam. Go ahead and check out the YouTube VOD. It has our faces. We look amazing most of the time. Please go check out our Patreon at patreon.com/dicey decisions. There's cool stuff, fun bonuses, and it helps us keep the lights on. Thank you all so much for being here. Please be safe, share some love, and tell a story. Good night.